Hey folks, Volvo just rolled out their brand new SUV, the EX30, and it's a real game changer, I think. It's not only Volvo's most affordable model, but it's also their fastest, which I don't think is their real selling point, that it's really fast, because we've come to understand that electric cars can be fast with not too much effort, I suppose. According to Volvo's CEO, Jim Rowan, the EX30 is key to achieving their bold goal of boosting global sales this year by 95%, which is a big deal. With half of those sales coming from electric models, with a starting price of €36,590 bargain. The EX30 is now for grabs in Europe and the United States, with deliveries starting in 2024. Now let's talk about the performance. The top performing version of the EX30 can go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.6 seconds, all-wheel drive, 422 horsepower. 422 horsepower, it's great. On top of that, you'll get a range of around 460 kilometers, and that's not so far. What my estimate is real world range would be about 400, but I could be a little bit off. And it can charge up to 80% from dead in 27 minutes. And also 460 kilometers is 286 miles for those of you who are in the UK. So I reckon about 250 miles realistically. It charges at 153 kilowatts, so that's how it can charge from dead to 80% in 27 minutes. That's pretty decent. But there's more, actually. Volvo knows that everybody's got different preferences, and so that's why they're offering alternative variants of the EX30 to cater to different tastes. So they've got a high range variant that prioritizes range over performance, offering a single motor and a larger driving range. Now, I should just mention, I know my brother bought a Volvo, the bigger one to this, and he regrets buying the front wheel drive version, not getting the four-wheel drive version with the extra power. So I would recommend you consider that a little bit extra, based on the fact that I've heard him say that he thinks maybe he should have got the four-wheel drive version. But when you start adding these little bits of extra stuff on, the slightly bigger battery, or four-wheel drive instead of two-wheel drive, and you might go for an extra option pack inside, I understand that it might start leaving the range that you can afford. So that's an issue, isn't it? But if you can buy the base one for €36,000, bargain. And also, front wheel drive, 200, I think it's like 200 and something horsepower, if you've got the cheap one, that's fine. Most cars that we all drive around in, or have been for the last 10-20 years, haven't had 200 and something horsepower for most of us. That's quick, and you don't use 200 horsepower every time you set off. You might use 100, so, and probably not even 100 actually. So I think that's fine. On the other hand, if you're looking for a budget-friendly option, the base version has LFP batteries that provide a range of 344 kilometers, about 200 miles or so realistically. Volvo's managed to keep the cost down of this EX30 because it utilizes a shared platform with the LFP batteries, making it more affordable than its competitors. So safety is a big deal for Volvo, of course, and the EX30 shows actually kind of how serious they take it. If you have a good look around, you get the sense from the thick A, B, and C pillars and the cameras and the tire size. It's pretty good. It has a system called door opening alert system, and that means it gives you a heads up visually and audibly if you're about to open the door into a cyclist. So or traffic, but I think it's primarily bikes it's catering to, really. So this is a nifty feature, and it aims to reduce the number of accidents caused by dooring, which is a big problem out there. And the EX30 comes packed with other standard safety features like driver alert system, a driver alert system that detects signs that you're distracted or drowsy, and you can't turn that off on the EX30. So it's definitely not your average run-of-the-mill car, definitely not. And it's loaded with sensors that keep an eye on everything that's happening both to you and inside the cabin and outside the vehicle. So this is generally the way things are going. Cars are becoming quite smart. So if you're one of these people that wants a pretty standard basic car like a Honda Jazz from 2010 but electric powered, you don't want a fancy car. That's quite tough to get. You could potentially go and look at the BYD Yuan Pro. I think that would be a great option. But generally, a lot of these cars that we're seeing that are electric these days are having, they're packed with sensors and tech. And some companies identify their cars kind of like a smartphone on wheels. That's not really to my taste. I kind of like a car to be a little bit more primitive and simple, I suppose. Not full of sensors. I don't want to be told whether I should be doing something a bit different, or if I keep glancing a bit to the side a bit too often, if I'm doing that too much. I don't really like that. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just not my taste, that's all. So Volvo is they're trying to put forward the message that they are very aware about sustainability. I think maybe they are to an extent, but I mean they still produce cars, so you can't really argue that a car is green, even if you fuel it on renewable energy. It's still a car, and most of us will take it. We'll take our 1 or 2 tons of metal to go to the shop to get some bread and milk. So it's generally not a very green thing, I don't think. But they've said that it's the greenest car they've made. For a couple of reasons. By addressing emissions throughout the production and the life cycle of the vehicle, Volvo has managed to reduce its total carbon footprint to less than 30 metric tons over 200,000 kilometers of driving, which is spectacular, actually. That's a significant improvement compared to other electric models out there. So they are also striving to reduce their overall CO2 emissions per car by 40% for production costs in emissions, the cost in emissions, by 2025. So basically they're trying to make it so that their cars are more environmentally friendly to produce just before they put them on a ship and ship them around the world. The EX30 incorporates a good chunk of recycled plastics. 17% of all the plastic used in the car is recycled plastic, which is great, I think, because cars use a lot of plastic. Although personally, I wouldn't mind seeing that number go higher to maybe 50% or more. But this definitely is a science-based thing. You definitely need some smart people to figure out how quickly the plastics are going to deteriorate and fall to pieces. So I understand this is a bit more complex, but I don't think I'd be feeling like I'm getting a worse product if I've got something made entirely of recycled plastics. But I understand the quality of the plastic is maybe not going to be as good as if it was just first generation plastic. So I just wanted to say thank you very much and take a moment to express my gratitude to those people who have joined me on Patreon. Because I have a Patreon, I try and do this for my job and talk about electric cars and bring you the latest news in the EV world. YouTube memberships, if anyone's considered joining on there, thank you very much. Or anybody that's considered buying me a coffee on the website called Buy Me a Coffee. Links are in the description below if you'd like to do that, because I'm trying to make this my job every single day. So this is why I do make these videos every day, and occasionally I miss a day, but generally it's every day. Links are in the description below. Your support enables me to keep doing what I love. I love doing this. It takes hours and hours and hours every video just to research and make sure that I'm not just taking information from a website and then just giving it to you as a fact. I fact check everything, and I go back to the website of all the places, and I just make sure that what I'm saying is accurate. So that's why what I do is a little bit different to a lot of other people, and it takes a lot of time. Thank you very much for your support and joining on these things. So much appreciated. Let's talk Volvo technology. They've filled their cars with tech, of course. Volvo has struck a neat balance, I think, between cost efficiency and premium features. So basically, modern electric cars are full of stuff and they want this car to be cheap. So they can't just fill it with everything. They have to sort of figure out where that balance is. And with this, they've done really well, really well. If you look down the options list, really well. Of course, all the safety features are there. It's well made, it's safe, it has a big battery with a proper range, proper charging. It's great, you know. So they've simplified and made technology more efficient, focusing on what really matters to keep their brand on brand, and making it just cost effective for a lot of people to buy. So for instance, the EX30 has a centralized infotainment display powered by Google's Android automotive operating system, which brings together all the critical driving information you need. It's not too big, it's not too crazy good, it's just a good central unit. That's all it is. It's straightforward is the word you'd use, I think. By introducing the EX30, Volvo has set the stage now. You can see they've got a couple of their electric cars, and the EX30 we can see a trend. So they've set the stage for its future growth and electrification strategy. So you can kind of imagine where they're going to be in 10 years' time, which is really useful. So it's a great start, I think. It's affordable, impressive performance, safety features are great. It has sustainability initiatives, which is also brilliant. And it's a great choice in Volvo's lineup, I think, because it's noticeably cheaper than the other EVs that you can buy from Volvo. So as the company works toward becoming a climate neutral company by 2040, the EX30 represents a significant step in that direction with its market debut. Volvo expects the EX30 to make a large, substantial contribution to their growth, and it's a car that is a bit more accessible to the masses. Let's be real, €36,000 is a chunk of money. It is a lot of money. So, however, when it comes to new electric cars, that's actually a pretty decent price tag, relatively speaking. And interestingly, the most common price for a brand new car right now, whether it's petrol or diesel or electric, is $20,000. So when the car costs 20 to 30,000 ish for an electric car, that will have the brand and the look and feel of something like a Honda Jazz or a Toyota Camry. These pretty generic standard cars that we see every day that we don't really blink at anymore. When they are that price, I think that will be a very pivotal time for us all. I think that's when the numbers are going to go with the amount of people buying EVs, particularly in places where they aren't really taking EVs seriously, you know. So there are certain states in the US where they don't really buy many EVs relative to other states. But this is quite a big, complex issue, which I've talked about in other videos. I'll put a link to my Ford dealership video in the links below, in the description below, where, you know, Ford have just put a blanket price on the dealerships. They have to pay $1.5 million just for permission, just to be enrolled in a meaningful tier on the Ford electric vehicle program. But they don't really have a choice. So basically, even the poor rural dealerships have to pay the same price, even though nobody's going to be buying the EVs there. And it's a bit crazy. So unlike GM, Ford are making it very difficult to for some people in certain parts of the country to buy EVs or even sell EVs. So you could go into a Ford dealership in like Texas, for example, and you will literally struggle to thrust your money at them to buy an electric vehicle. That's the reality. So it's a bit of a strange thing. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do me a favor and press the like button so that this lets YouTube know you enjoyed it, you know. And if you want to see more daily videos about electric vehicles, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much. And any comments, just put in the description below, comments below, and I'll get back to you on that. Also, you know, I've noticed a lot of people write comments. Any comments at all, it doesn't really matter. And a lot of other people are really interested in what other people are putting in the comments. It's really quite interesting. One thing I've noticed on my videos is that a lot of people comment on stuff, not necessarily to me, but they just comment on stuff and ask questions, and then lots of other people reply to those comments. I think it's awesome. I read them, and that's okay. So any questions, or if you're thinking about buying an electric car or a Volvo, or you just anything at all, just put it in the comments. So thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoy the video.